Hi Flosstube, I'm Michelle from Michelle's Romantic Tangle, and I am going to do a quick little update while the updating is good. I had my oral surgery yesterday, and I am feeling much better than I thought I would be. I am so glad I got the second opinion because that doctor and his staff were absolutely phenomenal. And if you've talked to me or you know my history, you'll know my big fear was bleeding, especially after the first oral surgeon casually commented that I might, quote, have to be transported to the hospital to receive product. I don't know what this dentist did, if he cauterized or used clotting gel, but I didn't see any blood. And I'm assuming that all of my blood is still in me where it belongs, or enough of my blood is still in me where it belongs, and doesn't hurt nearly as badly as I feared that it would, although sharing a house with 4 other people who can eat whatever they want is not fun. Can I tell all my kids that they're only allowed to eat mushy stuff that I can eat? Would that be adequate parenting? Right before the oral surgery, my husband's been on vacation for 2 weeks, and we took off for Reno for a couple of days without the kids, which this is, I think, the first time since our 22-year-old was born that the 2 of us have been together overnight without the kids, without hospitalization or dire emergency, and oh my gosh, we had fun. So there's that. I finished my socks, the ones that I have been plodding away on for months. They are not on the sock blockers because I'm feeling too lazy to drag them out. You know what socks look like. I started another pair of socks on last night? Yeah, last night. And they are lace. And I was a little bit under the influence of my painkillers when I started these, but I'm not worried about it because these are easy lace, and if I mess it up too badly, I can rip them out and start over. And as of this morning, I am not taking the painkillers. Maybe I should be, but pain or being able to stitch with a clear mind, which one do we pick? I know which one I pick. And let's see, I am loving my new bag I showed you in the last video. I've got 3 pairs of socks in progress in here, and it is arbitrary August, and I'm torn because I've been sitting here on the couch all morning having my little pity party about my mouth, and do I let the random number generator decide what I'm going to work on, or do I decide what I'm going to work on, or do I do a combination of both? I really had fun with Arbitrary August last year, and I want to do it, but I also want to work on what I want to work on. So the first thing it came up with for me, this was night before last, was the second Smock Madness sock. I finished this one last spring and could not get enthused enough to cast on the cuff for the second one. I don't do a lot of cuff down socks because I don't love casting on 74 stitches and joining them in the round when you can do toe up socks and only deal with casting on 8 stitches. These are also a charted cuff, which means it's not an easy knit to purl to. It's a following the chart while you cast on 72 stitches and join them in the round. And I've got most of the cuff done, and that was the hard part. Now I'm feeling way more optimistic about doing the leg. It means following a chart. It's kind of fiddly, but I can do it, and that would mean the socks were done, and I would free up my needles and be able to cross off another project and make more room in my planner. So do I do that? Before I'm all over the place, and I apologize. Last video I showed you ripe apples and talked about how I was going to finish the apples and worry about the basket later. So of course, as soon as I was done with that video, I did some stitching on the basket because why not? And it's really, this one is addictive. Once I get started on it, I want to keep going. And so I do. Let's see. I really know what I'm doing here. I have notes and everything. Second thing the random number generator showed me to work on was the Cuckoo Clock, and I love the Cuckoo Clock, so I did about an hour and a half of the swirls on the side. The way I am doing my Arbitrary August for the moment, and the way I did it last year, is I pick up a project, I have to work on it for at least an hour, and once I get that hour done, I am free to pick a new number and start on something else. So this morning I started on something else, and that is Cats with Gramophone. I did the leg of the Gramophone, and I am rapidly discovering that talking makes the stitches in the side of my mouth hurt, so I've got just a couple other real quick things and then we will be done. I did a little bit on Mr. Rabbit. I was not enthused about working on him, but I was able to figure out where I left off at the end of Mania and make some progress, and the end of him is kind of in sight. And then it pulled up All Is Calm, which just seems way too hard to work on today, but it also has these big patches of blue sky, so I spent an hour stitching on blue sky. And I think that is almost it. I have found this really cute feathery scarf at the Dollar Tree, and I don't wear scarves, so I made a tote bag to carry projects in. And there is a tutorial for the tote bag that I uploaded a couple of videos ago. And I am going to quit talking before I make these stitches dig into my cheek anymore. I'm sorry if I'm talking fast in this one. I wanted to, it's been a couple of weeks since my last Flosstube update. I wanted to do an update while the house was quiet and I had a chance to do it. Seems like all is going well. I'm going to snuggle back up on the couch and do a little more stitching and get this uploaded, and I will be back with you again soon. Please stop saying summer is over, because we've got like a whole month left. The weather is just getting warm and I am not even beginning to be ready to give up summer. I like the fact that Halloween is coming, but I need the rest of my summer. Thanks again for watching. I'm Michelle with Michelle's Romantic Tangle, and I'll be back with you again soon.